about that.
Yeah, I mean, we're treating this as if, this is a championship, as if this is our homestead. We're prepared. We've had two back-to-back top fives. Um, I mean, we're ready to win this race this weekend and seal the deal. We watched what Stewart did last year in the chase for the Sprint Cup and had to win, and he did, and that's what we come here to do on Saturday night.
Go ahead, Melinda.
How does your past performance here affect your opportunity and your performance?
Well, I mean, past performances have been very good for me here at Richmond. We really weren't very good here earlier in the year, but I look at the last 3 or 4 before that, we were really strong. So, even though we haven't gotten the wins, I think we've had winning cars and effort. So, I think we learned a lot from earlier in the season on what not to do. And I feel like we're a much stronger, team and race cars and everything at this point right now. Yeah, I mean, at the time, you make that split-second decision, and I had a pretty good run. And yeah, I wish I would have either, just dive bombed him on the inside or, gotten on his bumper and loosened him up. But we were going for the win. We were in a great position there, and I made the best decision I could at the moment. And it's easy to go back and look at it and see how you could have done it different. But I still felt like I had a shot at winning it by getting to his outside, but just carried a little bit too much speed. So yeah, I looked at it.
Jesse said that you wished you would have been more aggressive there. I mean, why do you?
Well, looking back on it now, because we didn't win, so the other option after seeing how the results ended up were to, go the other route, which was I'm always going to go with try to pass some clean route first, and then after that, then you got to use the bumper or do other things. And so now looking back on it, I wish I would have done that.
Go ahead.
I think short track racing applies here, so certainly a lot less rules apply, yeah. I mean, I think that, when you're in a win, you basically have to win the race situation, then it's your job to push the issue and be more aggressive, as well as others around you, to understand what you've got on the line and how important it is.
How concerned are you that
I don't see how you can really, I think our biggest threat is ourselves, really. Just doing our job to the best of our abilities. That's. I think if we do that, we can win this race. Certainly this is a great track for Kyle. He's really in the best position right now, but you can't take out those other 4 or 5 guys that, if they win, move on as well. You can't take out what happens if Tony has a bad race and he moves outside, of the top 10, how that changes things. So, I mean, you can't just look at one guy. They don't have to. I mean, I think it's pretty clear cut. Everybody knows what the rules are, in this situation.
hey Jeff, Kyle did say, he's going to make sure you're always in his sights. He's going to make sure he doesn't get too far behind you. If he gets to the last lap, he'll do what he has to do. I mean, how concerning is it to know that he obviously has sort of the same mentality, I guess, you do?
Yeah, listen, our job is to put as much pressure on them as we possibly can, and they're going to try to do the same, to us. He runs good here. We're very capable of winning here. So we certainly go into this race, like I said, this is like our championship. We're going to come out fighting. We're going to push hard. We're going to be aggressive, and hopefully take that control back to where it pushes those guys to get outside their comfort zone and boundaries and see what happens from there. Yeah, I mean, it's easy to go back throughout the season and know that we've performed well enough to be solidly in the chase. I mean, just look at these last couple weeks. We have fast race cars, but that doesn't always guarantee that you're going to have a spot in the chase. But when you look at the list of guys that are on the list that aren't in the chase along with us, it shows you how competitive this sport is and how the best in the business can still have rough years and not make it in.
Would you look forward to a situation where you and Kyle are 1-2 at the end of the race, or would it be stressful and just in the sense of no matter what you do, you may have to make like an ethical decision there on that last lap?
Listen, we come here to win, and we're going to be putting the best effort that we possibly can throughout the whole weekend to try to accomplish that. We can't start playing out scenarios in our heads right now. We're going to do what it takes to win, whatever that means.
Stan.
Yeah, Jeff, could you compare what this makes you feel like this weekend versus, say, 10 years ago when if you'd have been 12, this weekend would have just been get ready for next year?
That's what I love about the wild card, especially. I mean, I've always felt the chase for the Sprint Cup format was one that made the end of the season more exciting, brought it down to the final race, but they didn't have the wild card originally. Since they've incorporated the wild card, I think it's taken it just to a whole nother level. I love it. I think it's fantastic. Gives so many more people a shot at the championship. It certainly makes for a lot of great storylines. I mean, this race was always a great, exciting race, but it never had this much importance. When it comes to the championship or who makes it in, and makes for a great race weekend, in my opinion. So I love the format. I think it's fantastic. I don't want to be in this position ever again, but just looking at it from the sport, it's great.
Who else has one? Melinda?
You said that last week that you always thought it'd come down to the last lap in Richmond. Is that stressful or is it exciting?
Both. I mean, I think no matter what, even if we won last weekend, this race I think would be intense because, if Kyle wins, he still is in. So, I think there's so many guys with so much on the line. Whether you're in the chase already, you're trying to seed yourself, whether you're Tony Stewart and you've had a couple rough weekends and you don't want to get knocked out, or whether you're one of these guys that have a shot at being one of those final wild card positions, or somebody just hasn't won a race this year that wants to win a race. So, to me, this is going to be a really exciting, intense race for a lot of people, not just us.
Jeff, you said you really don't want to be in this position after all you've accomplished in your career. Do you find it frustrating to be in this position?
Yeah, we've had a frustrating year, but it doesn't stop us fighting, to the end of every race to try to get a win or the best finish that we can. And so our goals don't really change. It's just when you look back at the season at moments that have slipped away that not only would have gotten us in the chase but gotten us more wins, and then it's been frustrating.
Did you guys have specific tests for Richmond in the last couple of weeks, knowing that
No, just doing what we normally do, going 7 posts, computer simulation, wind tunnel, looking at the race car, looking at our notes, setups, teammates sharing information, their notes, but no specific testing. No, I'm not going to ask them to do anything for me. If they choose to do things on their own, then that's on them. If the crew chiefs talk about things, maybe, but that's not any indication I've gotten from Alan. We'll certainly be sharing information like we always do with them to try to gather that information to make our car the best that we can make it, and when the green flag drops, do what we normally do.
David.
You know, listen, I mean, right now we're going to be treating anybody that's in front of us as if, you know, they're the enemy. So that's, you know, that's the way it's going to have to be approached. And, you know, I think that it's our responsibility to go out there and be aggressive and do whatever it takes to win. It's others' responsibilities to know what's on the line for themselves as well as their competitors. And so it'd be no different than if I'm leading the race and Kyle's behind me. I know what's coming. And I think that whether you're a teammate or not our teammate, you should know what's coming.
Would you feel the same thing's coming if Denny is behind you because he's Kyle's teammate?
He better move me really far out of the way.
Anybody else?
Hey Jeff, you're at this point in your career, have you thought how much longer you want to do this now? Would you want to go through many more frustrating years like this?
You know, while it's been frustrating, it's been really rewarding in a lot of ways. I love working with Alan Gustafson. I think he's a great crew chief. We've had very fast race cars this year. We've passed a lot of cars because I haven't qualified very good this year. So there's been some highlights, even though there's been some frustrating moments. So, you know, when I think about it, it really gets me encouraged for the future, you know, and getting to share that moment at Pocono with my two kids was a highlight for me of my career, and I want to do more of that. So right now I'm not really thinking about stopping.
You've got a lot of charity people that you deal with. If not making the chase, what's that got to do with the sponsors?
You know, how would it impact them, you mean? Oh, well, listen, the better we do, the more that car's in front of the TV camera and winning the races and winning the championship would be the ultimate for them. So we have enough pressure on ourselves already. We don't need any added pressure, but we love doing things for our sponsors, giving back to them, especially when it's helping, you know, older Americans fight their hunger issues. So I just left AARP's headquarters in D.C. That's why I was a little bit late here, and we understand the importance of that program, and we plan on doing everything we can to continue to help them.
Last year, Jeff, Tony was struggling a little bit before the chase, and the famous "we don't even deserve to be in the chase" comments. Again, this year they're struggling a little bit. So does that make you less inclined to believe there's really a problem once the chase starts? Or
yeah, certainly with Tony, you know, you never count him out, and you don't you pay much attention to you know, if they're saying those types of things based on just last year. So, you know, I wouldn't be surprised they step it up to another level when it all starts.